So the statement that we came up with was, we commend the Scottish Parliament for establishing the Assembly and the Scottish Government for providing a considered response. And then within Scotland and our Assembly, there are different views on the pace of change needed to address the climate emergency. It will take time to engage with communities to enact change fairly and consistently for all, so we need the Scottish Government to take things forward with a sense of urgency. The Scottish Government needs to think less about what they can't do and instead demonstrate a positive attitude, thinking hard about how they can make things happen.
We had the subject of the Scottish Government response to Assembly recommendations in general. And what we felt was some members of the Assembly were overall disappointed with some of the responses in many areas, perhaps not recognising the urgency of some of the recommendations. What we were looking for was the government to commit to specific actions, some targets and timeframes, and ultimately report back to us the idea behind that, so there's some kind of accountability with it. We still kind of feel as well some of what we would call quick wins have been rejected because they could commit to examples, say public procurement situations and some kind of public education campaign also. And the best example of public education campaigns is, of course, COVID over the last couple of years, and that shows how much people take on board things that matter.
So our group, we talked about government funding, and our statement says, Scottish Government allocation of funds to address each recommendation should be separate, specific, and ring-fenced. We want to ensure that each recommendation gets adequate funding from the budget without being too prescriptive. As an example, in recommendation 4, the government said that the £70 million recycling improvement fund is also available for reuse initiatives. This is unacceptable because there's no guarantee that any of this money will be spent on reuse. It could go 100% on recycling and 0% on reuse.
Hi everybody. Yeah, we had Goal 7 carbon labelling found on page 87, and the statement is response to the Scottish Government. So in order for consumers to make informed choices, it is vital that carbon labelling is introduced. The Assembly would ask Scottish Government to do more to encourage the National Government to consider this. In addition, we would urge the Scottish Government to demonstrate good practices where possible. And there was just a comment, so the reason why it's National Government is on the report it was stated that the Scottish Government do not have power over reserve matter.
In regard to Goal 9, land use, particularly the two accompanying Children's Parliament goals and also Recommendation 44, marine carbon sequestration, we feel that there's too much description of activity that is already underway and not enough commitment to new and ambitious activity. We think the Scottish Government should commit to engaging more proactively with farmers, land users, and those who know and work in the marine environment to inform response to the climate change crisis and biodiversity loss, and in particular, address the destructive activity of industrial fishing. I'll move on to the second one. We're pleased that the government acknowledges that the circular economy is an enormous opportunity for Scotland and directly contributes local community and the climate emergency. However, we feel the government's response again simply lists a number of bills and plans that are already underway and lacks clear and ambitious targets and sustainable investments that could stimulate and empower local communities to further innovate and develop circular economies at local and regional level. We believe that greater ambition and investment into circular economy activity will engage local communities, contribute significantly to education and behavioural change in regard to climate crisis, and build healthier and happier communities.
Yeah. Our first one is on community land, and we acknowledge that some positive elements in the government's response to a recommendation on community land ownership reform, but since land use planning is under Scottish Government control, we were expecting more ambition in this area. To address the climate emergency, we need to give communities more control over Scotland's underused land. One way the government can do this is to further increase its funding for the Scottish Land Fund. The government proposed increase is not enough. And our second one was on retrofitting. We are concerned that the government's response to our goal of retrofitting homes will push more people into fuel poverty. There's not enough detail about how the government's going to protect low-income families, including the working poor. And we're talking about those people that are a borderline where they're not eligible for benefits and don't have a lot of money. And we're worried about the low-income families in the move to decarbonise homes.
Okay. So we were looking at work and volunteering. We acknowledge government are making good progress with Goal 12 on work and volunteering, in particular the Green Training and Apprenticeship Scheme. Moving forward, the Scottish Government needs to increase awareness about the measures that are already in place and explain how they will measure the success of these schemes in cooperation with local groups and local authorities.
We are disappointed in the Scottish Government's response to banning single-use plastic and non-recyclable packaging, in particular plastic bags, as recommended by the Children's Parliament, as stated in Goal 1, Recommendation 2. We want to introduce legislation to ban these and also to consider measures to reduce plastic use across Scotland. And the next one is, we are disappointed in the Scottish Government's response to eliminate frequent flyer air mile bonuses, as well as reducing flying in general. The airline industry is a major and disproportionate source of emissions. The Scottish Government must raise the air departure tax, especially for more frequent flyers, and work with airline companies to label the emissions on flights.
The government response to a just transition for all needs to be more practical by creating the finance needed through existing powers of taxation at local level. For example, increasing tax on power companies through a land tax on energy installations. Our second one is the Assembly is not content with the common response from the government to our recommendations that they don't have the power. The Scottish Government have failed to test how far it can utilise existing powers and needs to do so. Therefore, more urgency is needed in introducing new sources of public funding, which is essential to address the just transition. In addition, we want more emphasis on how free developed nations will collaborate to put more pressure on the UK government to develop more power for Scotland to address the climate emergency and to uphold Scotland and the UK's commitment to COP26.
Hi everyone. Ours was about public transport. So we welcome that free transport is being implemented for some groups, but we feel that this doesn't go far enough in terms of helping low-income families access public transport. We would like to see a travel card in Recommendation 28 developed to enable low-income families to access discounted transport. We feel that government response to Recommendation 27 doesn't go far enough. It is important to us that the number of providers of transport services are integrated and better reflects the local needs, and the standard of fleet being used needs to better meet the needs of reducing carbon emissions, i.e. alternative fuels.
Hi, so yeah, we've kind of got two as well. So the first is throughout the government response, there are many pledges using words like consider and explore, and we'd like to see a clearer roadmap with more ambitious targets, actions and timescales, and reporting mechanisms so that the government can be held to account. And the second half of that is it's crucial that Scottish Government prioritises tackling the most damaging climate issues first, guided by expert advice, and bring forward public engagement on climate issues to help drive the political will, with cross parties working together to drive more immediate action with clear commitment.
So our statement was about government accountability and measuring success. 1 second, I've just got to find it. We are concerned that the government may not act in the way that they've indicated, and that there is a lot of activity and spend that may not lead to tangible outcomes. We want the government to create a scorecard with 10 key performance indicators with clear numerical and measurable targets based on areas of greatest impact on climate change. The indicators should be decided by independent experts. This information should be updated biannually in an easily accessible and understandable format in a one-pager. The information reported on should include leading areas such as number of wind farms, heat pumps, public transport usage, etc., and lagging areas such as vehicle emissions, air miles, etc. The report should indicate for each target where there has been positive change and areas where targets have not been met. The scorecard should contain annual projected outcomes showing progressive improvement until the target has been reached and therefore maintained.
We were talking about the joined up approach.
Yeah.
We are concerned about the different levels of government not effectively communicating with each other. We are clear that we want government to be bold and take an innovative approach to policy development. This must involve working together with local communities, local councils, and climate experts towards shared goals and targets. We would like Scotland to be leading work to tackle the global climate emergency, both within the UK and around the world, to ensure the positive ambition with urgent action. A joined up approach would make the best use of time and resources to maximize efficiency, reducing duplication. We are calling on the Scottish Government to improve this area.
Our statement is that to enable the important work of the Climate Assembly and Children's Parliament to continue, we collectively agree it is essential to have an ongoing and sustained dialogue between the Government and the Assembly and Children's Parliament. We strongly believe the Government can upscale their current commitments further to meet our recommendations in their ambition and shortening of timescales. We expect the Government to ensure we can hold them accountable via an annual review.